What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys so very much. Over 1,500 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of this would be possible without you guys, so I thank you so very much. And yes, we're still living in a bit of a pandemic life, a little bit, all right? But today we are fortunate to have with us the creator of SmartPlate, the wonderful Anthony Ortiz. Hey, Anthony.
What's up, Ash? How are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Amazing. Reporting all the way from Puerto Rico.
Oh my gosh, I envy you right now, Anthony, okay? You got beautiful sunsets.
Well, you're welcome to come visit. You're welcome to come visit anytime. If you need an escape, you want to do some podcasts from paradise. That's awesome too.
I am game for it. You guys heard it first. He said it. All right, it's okay.
You got it.
All right, Anthony. So, how does the story for SmartPlate begin?
Oh well, so my journey started when I almost lost my biggest hero, my dad. And he almost died in the hospital after a triple bypass surgery that was caused by heart disease. And I was uneducated. Even though I worked out since my early 20s, I had a lot of bro science behind me. Right. You know, egg whites in the morning, raw egg whites, doing all the whole Arnold thing, lots of protein, lots of meat-based protein, and just faulty science. And in my house, my dad was very proud that we cooked a lot of things from scratch. We didn't frequent fast food chains and all of that. And he always, he was very proud of that. And then so I wondered what went wrong. Here we were. We ate salads almost every day. Yeah. We ate things that we didn't buy at fast food chains. We cooked from scratch for the most part. So what went wrong? What happened to my dad? How did he get heart disease? And what I found out is that the problem is bigger than just, of course, soda, sugar, fast food, processed, food is bad for us, even worse, right? But there's a bigger problem too, which is you have to be careful of how you combine certain things. So, for example, you could have yuca or plantain or rice and beans, and I'm Latino, by the way, so I grew up eating all of that stuff, right? And so so all of these things individually are good for you, but when you marry them together in one sitting, that's going to turn into nothing but fat. So yes, avocados are good for you. Do not eat 3 of them a day, right? Right. In fact, sometimes you should just only eat a quarter of an avocado and mix that with another starch or a lighter starch or maybe a non-starchy vegetable, even preferably, right? So anyway, so that's the kind of stuff that I was uneducated at. And I'm sitting there in the lobby of the hospital after my dad's surgery, and I'd never seen him so vulnerable. This is a guy who's 6'4", he's burly, he's 200 and something pounds, and he's the rock of our house, always was, right? Serial entrepreneur, came to the U.S. as an immigrant, drove a taxi, went to the Air Force, became an air mechanic, borrowed 10, 15 grand, and was able to start an insurance company, flipped that, started a company in Dominican Republic, sold it to the Dominican Republic, to the government, Department of Agriculture there. Just a repeat serial entrepreneur who hustled, right? Yeah. And to see him like that, it crushed me. And so I'm sitting in the lobby, and I'm reading this book called The China Study by Dr. T. Colin Campbell. If anyone, has some time, it's a really long read, but it's very comprehensive. You can jump from chapter to chapter. And I, no lie, I turned to this one page as I'm really concerned at a low point, and it said, no one ever has to suffer or die from heart disease, stroke. These are all man-made diseases. And I was so uneducated at that point. I thought, are you kidding me? I thought this stuff was hereditary. I thought it was genetic. Right. If your parents have diabetes or heart disease, you're most likely to have it, or there's a high chance that you will get it. I had no idea that epigenetics alter the genetic makeup of how you're born. So your lifestyle, even though you may have the obesity gene and some other things that are out there because they run in your family, you can alter that with simple lifestyle changes, activity, eating well, sleeping well, meditation, etc.
Right.
And so that was the moment of truth for me. And I said, all right, my next business, I was running a logistics company at the time. I sold that during the housing market collapse, right a few years after the housing market collapse in 2010. And I said, I want to get into health and wellness, and I want to do something that plays at the core. I don't want to create a Band-Aid. There's enough Band-Aids, medications, and, I want to create something that solves the problem at the core, and food is a core problem solver. Yeah. So that's how I invented SmartPlate.
Wow. That's incredible. That's such an inspirational story. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is amazing.
Thank you.
So, Anthony, after you came up with this idea, what was your next step?
So let me tell you what SmartPlate is for the audience that's, listening now.
Mm-hmm.
So SmartPlate is the world's most accurate food tracker ever invented with coaches and elite athletes in mind. What I found out is that there are so many calorie counting applications that are manual, they're inaccurate, and they're really tedious and frustrating to use. If anybody in the audience is listening, you know which ones I'm talking about. It's the same culprits, and they suck, and you use them for 2 or 3 days. Those who have a lot of discipline will go on for a few months, but after a while, it's just like, it's a love-hate relationship. Athletes, like pro elite athletes and coaches, are recommending these same apps. And that's unbelievable to me, because they are actually about 30% inaccurate at every meal log. So I thought, how do we create something that's more precise? I mean, this is our health that we're talking about here, right? You don't, if you want to measure, if you want to measure heart rate variability, you get an EKG. That's the precise, tool to measure heart rate variability. So anything less than that is not accurate. It's not precise. So it didn't exist, and that was just really crazy to me. So I decided, okay, what do we need? In order to estimate the accuracy of food, you need two values. You need to know how much a food weighs, the density of it, and then you need to know what it is. So you need to identify it, and then you need to weigh it. So I figured out a way to create SmartPlate, which is 3 weight sensors. It's elegant hardware. You put your food, proteins, carbs, and fats into these 3 sections separately. You take one picture from the top, just one picture, and in less than 5 seconds, I measure and I identify everything you're eating with up to 99% nutrition accuracy.
Wow. I've never heard of any app or any kind of technology like that before, Anthony. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Now, if people want to get...
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, I was saying that you haven't heard of it because it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. No one else has been able to invent that, and there's a few attempts, but they failed at it because it's a really hard problem to solve. You have to have 3 weight sensors next to each other. They have to be very accurate, sitting next to each other. Then you have to take artificial intelligence or face recognition. We applied that technology to food. That has to be accurate, and it all has to work in an amount of time that creates a user experience that is favorable. So when we first started this thing, it would take a minute to do all of this, 1.5 minutes. And I said, guys, I can go to Google in 1.5 minutes and Google it. This needs to do it in less than 5 seconds. And so that was the challenge. How do you get this thing to do? And now it's firing at like 3 seconds sometimes, where we get the weight information and everything. Yeah.
That's incredible. So what happens as far as troubleshooting goes? Like, say a person is, they're doing everything right. They measure out their dinner for the night, but maybe lighting is an issue. Is the app going to tell them, hey, you need to be somewhere? Okay.
So if you're shooting in the dark, the camera, it knows that you're in a dark room. It'll light up automatically.
Oh.
So it senses that you're in a dark area. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We also use something called an augmentation algorithm. So we train for orange lighting, yellow lighting, dark lighting scenarios. So we've got a solution for every kitchen. You can take a picture of food in your pitch black dark room, and if we know you're in a pitch black dark room, the flash will go off on your phone.
Gotcha. Wow.
The other thing is that we created this device. We know how people eat. They don't always eat at home. Right. So the other challenge was, how do you create an experience where you capture the user journey at home, on the go, at work, when they're traveling, right? Mm-hmm. So for travel, we have a lid. So SmartPlate is portable. We have athletes right now that are using this, and they travel where they're excited. They order their room service, and they're putting that stuff on the plate in their hotel room because they're traveling and they're training, right? Yeah. We have people that are at the restaurant. They're just using the image, the camera feature. So you hit the plus sign. There's a camera feature where you don't need your plate at the restaurant, but you just use the camera feature and you can take a picture of your meal at the restaurant, and we guesstimate on average, what the contents of that food are. And here's what we do for restaurants to make it even more accurate. We actually overestimate by about 20-30% because restaurants underestimate on purpose their nutrition facts. Mm-hmm. And so we're aware that they do this. So when you're out at a restaurant and we know you're using that feature, we overestimate and add an additional 20-30% of those calories because we know that that's what restaurants do. They cook with all this flavor and butter and oil. So typically it's heavier in the calories.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Definitely heavy. So, Anthony, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you and, of course, to get their SmartPlate?
GetSmartPlate.com/consumers. Again, that's GetSmartPlate.com/consumers. And we will have a Black Friday sale. So if you go to our website on Black Friday, you're going to get a really nice discount on the device. I believe that we're doing $100 off.
Whoa.
This isn't a cheap device, right? No. It's $29 a month. It's a subscription, right? But you own it. So it's a $29 a month subscription paid annually. You pay $348. On Black Friday, you'll get it for like $248. But you own it. And you don't have to continue it next year. But when we think about what's going on right now, no one's going to the gym, right? No. Food is 80 to 90% of what we look like and how we feel, and our health outcomes are directly tied to what we're eating. So I would prioritize my food and my nutrition over a gym membership. So I think it's an incredible value where, I know some people might say, well, it's a little pricey, and we hear you, but one of the things that we're going to do, we're trying hard to make this affordable to everyone. Right. So just so everybody that's listening knows my strategy as a CEO is to democratize technology like this. But how do we do it? The challenge is that technology is expensive. So my strategy is to first make sure that we prove the efficacy of this thing through research studies, which we're doing already with the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and a few other Penn Medicine, Princeton Health. We were able to reverse prediabetes and diabetes and early onset type 2 with a 16-person study that we did. We're about to do a 100-person study next year. And so the strategy is, once we start to prove the efficacy of this, insurance companies are going to pay for this. So in about 2 years, mark my words, you're going to see insurance companies insuring SmartPlate because the power of this device is going to be medically and there's going to be a lot of efficacy, proven science behind it.
I love it. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. And thank each and every one of you guys for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.